In the late afternoon on the 30th of October 2015, police responded to a fire at 20 Michael Drive in Greenville in South Carolina. As they arrived, they discovered a lifeless body of a man in the basement of a home. He had been shot at least once, and it was determined that he was in a state of decomposition prior to the fire, and it was estimated that his life was taken around the 11th of October earlier that month. The body was identified as 57-year-old Cecil Sandy Morris, but due to the lack of available forensic evidence, no suspect was identified and the case went cold. Earlier in 2020, investigators reopened the case and looked into phone records, forensic evidence, and uncovered surveillance footage that led them to 45-year-old Travis Merrill as a suspect. Investigators believe that after Morris was shot, Merrill flew to California and fraudulently used Morris's credit cards in the amounts of thousands of dollars. After returning back to Greenville, it was believed that Merrill went back to their residence on the 30th of October and set fire to it before fleeing to a relative's home. He stayed in Brevard, North Carolina, where the victim's vehicle was ultimately located. While the exact motive of the crime is still unclear, investigators can confirm that the pair were roommates. During the course of the investigation, the authorities were able to substantiate enough evidence to implicate Merrill and charge him for taking Sandy Morris's life. He's also been charged with other various indictable offences, including possession of a weapon during a violent crime, arson, and fraud. He was arrested on the 20th of November 2020 by Transylvanian police and is awaiting trial. Morris was born in Greenville and attended Freedom Baptist Church and opened his own cleaning company, Sandman's Cleaning Service, after retiring from Michelin. His obituary described him as a car enthusiast who enjoyed gardening, camping, and being outdoors. On the 15th of April 1999, at around 4 a.m, two women who lived in a Park Avenue residence of Summerdale, New Jersey, were attacked in their home while they were sleeping in bed as a man broke through the back door. The first woman, who was in a separate room, was abruptly awoken to a man holding a knife to her throat and demanded money. The man then subsequently bound, violated and stabbed the second woman multiple times. When he fled the scene, the first woman tried calling 911 but discovered that the phone lines had been cut. She ran to a neighbour's house for help, and the police arrived shortly thereafter. Miraculously, both women survived the horrendous ordeal. DNA was collected from the second victim, but a suspect was unable to be identified at the time, and the case went cold. In October 2019, investigators reopened the case and entered the same DNA collected in 1999 through the CODIS database, and they received a match. It identified 47-year-old Summerville, South Carolina resident Sanika Adams as a suspect. As a result of further investigation, including meeting with the victims and locating Adams, detectives travelled approximately 700 miles to Summerville to interview him and collect a more recent DNA sample for analysis. On the 25th of November 2020, the crime lab confirmed that Adams' DNA was a match to the crime scene. It was confirmed he was living in Lawnside in New Jersey at the time of the crime. Adams was arrested at his home and was taken into custody on the 4th of December 2020 in South Carolina, and he's waiting extradition to New Jersey. He faces up to 19 charges against him, including attempting to take a life, aggravated assault and burglary.